goodness. Welcome everybody to the show tonight. Oh, this is going to be a fantastic episode tonight. This is episode, where are we? Number 25. 25, y'all. It's been 25 days and we're still going strong. And like I told y'all, we're getting stronger and stronger every day.
Yes.
Every day we're getting stronger. We're not slowing up. We're keeping up the momentum. And today is going to be an exciting time for you, for us. I got the bigger pad out today to take some notes because this is going to be a lot of information. It's going to be a teaching. It's going to be a motivation. It's going to really get us on the right track when it comes to our health. So what we did, Karen, and you mentioned it the other day, we shifted our Fitness Friday to Thursday because this is so important.
Yes.
And tomorrow we're crossing the finish line. God willing, we're going to cross the finish line of 26 nights in a row. That's a focus marathon that we've been doing. And we are getting there. Karen, say hi to the people.
Hello. Sometimes I'm not going to say that. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to get my words in because my baby, he's so excited, but I'm excited too. And y'all, welcome to today's Focus Marathon, day number 25. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether it's been live or you've been catching the replays. We know you're watching and we really appreciate it. We appreciate the feedback we're getting, appreciate the likes, appreciate the numbers of subscribers. Hey,
man,
listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, like maybe this is your first time and this is your first introduction, make sure you click that, what is it,
There's a like button out there.
Subscribe button.
Subscribe, like.
Subscribe.
Do both. Why not do both?
Absolutely.
Double dip. This is where you can double dip. You don't want to do that over people's food, but on this food, you can double dip on this one. So go ahead and click both.
Absolutely.
You know what? And one other thing you could do is share this with someone you love. I know, there's a lot of stuff you could see that is just for entertainment. But this stuff right here is really to help you and those that you love, those that you care about. And I believe each and every episode has been 24. Tonight is going to be the 25th one. Have been really
impactful
and practical.
Yeah.
That's that practical. You can actually do something with the information you're getting tonight. So yes, you may not get entertained here, but you're definitely going to be able to take the next step.
Yes.
I brought that back around. Right?
That's right.
Taking the next step. That's the name of the channel. Also, if you want to join our email group right at the top here, I don't know if it's over here or over here, but somewhere at the top there's where you can join our community because sometimes you just want a quick little email of motivation or just to know what's happening around the community with taking the next step. And, you want to do that so we can keep you abreast of what's going on. So without further ado, babe, I can't wait.
Yeah, this is another life-changing conversation that we're going to have tonight. And I don't think we need to hold back. Listen, if you haven't checked out the videos from the previous days and weeks, make sure you check those out there on the YouTube channel, part of a playlist. But tonight we want to jump into the topic because there's so much to unpack, so much for us to understand. And our guest is coming loaded to lay it on us.
Full barrel, just loaded.
Absolutely.
So, man, look, we talked about health. We talked about diabetes. We talked about serving. We talked about exercising. But to me, in order to fuel all of that you want to do in life, I have the dream to do this. I want to accomplish that. I want to write this book. I want to give these presentations. Your fuel is what you put in your body, just like you would an automobile. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Right.
How do you fuel your body properly?
Premium octane. What are we putting in our bodies? We got to put that premium stuff in. So I think our guest is going to help us do that.
Yeah. So, we always do take a moment, go to your phone, tell somebody, get to this live stream right now. Tell them to get here right now and just hold on.
Like right now.
I mean, if you care for them.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't care for them, don't do it. But if you care for somebody and you want them to change their life around for the better, not for entertainment, but really do some impactful changes in their life, tell them they need to be here right now.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and lastly, before we get into it, tomorrow night, we're coming across the finish line. So we're going to have a verbal happy hour. So all your favorite
A virtual.
No, yeah, it's virtual, but it's going to be verbal because we're not going to be drinking anything. We won't be talking. we're going to be verbal happy hour.
Yes.
And it's virtual, verbal happy hour.
Yes.
And we will have some of your favorite guests come back on so you can get to see them again. They might drop in for a few minutes. They might stay for the whole hour, but they're going to come back. I'm inviting everybody back that has come in to speak to come back, and we're going to fill up the screen with speakers and just have a virtual happy hour as we cross the finish line. I'm done. Let's get into this.
Oh, but listen,
what's up?
If you have, while we go through tonight's conversation, if you have questions, don't forget, put a capital Q in front of your comment so that we know for sure that is a question that you want to pose to tonight's guest speaker. So without further ado, let me do the honors of introducing Mr. James Tate to the Focus Marathon Conversation. He has such a great story, and his personal journey to lose and keep weight off resulted in him establishing Beyond Weight Loss Total Wellness Center, LLC. It's a Christ-led holistic wellness center focused on total fat loss, meaning mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical, and improving overall health. His lowest high school weight was 275 pounds. In 2010, he weighed 415 pounds, which forced him to begin his wellness journey. By January 2011, he had shed 200 pounds. That's within 1 year. He shed 200 pounds naturally without any surgery, shots, pills, or fad diets. He uses his experience as a certified integrative nutrition health coach, nutrition therapist, clinical weight loss practitioner, and sports and exercise nutritional advisor to help people reach their wellness goals. James has also been certified as a health minister through Wesley Seminary and a congregational wellness advocate through Living Compass. He founded Wealthy Entertainment, a media company whose aim is to create content that helps children and families to become rich in love, rich in health, rich in knowledge, and most importantly, rich in Christ. He's the creator of Holy and Healthy, the YouTube channel that he hosts, a weekly show where he hosts a show called Let Us Pray.
Man, go ahead.
I love that.
Go ahead.
So y'all, we are so excited and so delighted to have James Tate with us tonight. Y'all show some love to him in the chat as it comes to the Focus Marathon.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's an honor to join you guys. You know how much I love you guys, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, man, it's our pleasure. I know we're going to learn, we're going to glean so much from you tonight. And but not only that, we want you to enjoy yourself tonight, man. Sit back. We're you know how I met you? Well, we didn't plan this, but I saw you for lunch, and we talked. This was about a month or so ago. And so just like that, we were just sitting, talking, and that's what we're doing right now. Just having a conversation, but we're having a conversation about the thing that you're very passionate about. And that's what I love, when people get behind how they're wired. And then even like yesterday, we talked about those breadcrumbs in life, those things that happen to you as an individual end up becoming your mission in life. And I can't wait to hear your story, Minister of Health. I got to get me a title like that, man. I got to find something. That thing right there, that's it right there, man. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm excited. I got a lot to share tonight. So, everybody buckle in. Just know everything that I'm buckle in. We're going to talk about nutrition 101. So just get ready. It's all in love. And I just hope I'm able to explain it to you in a simple way that you're able to receive it, but not just receive it, but also apply it and share it with somebody else.
Oh, this is awesome. So make sure, James, before you get into your full presentation, man, let's talk a little bit about you. Your back, Karen had a great intro for you. But, man, why do you do what you do, man? I think this is part of your presentation, but you are a health ambassador in a sense, man. So who are you, and what got you here? What was the big shift for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm a native Washingtonian, born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I was an overweight kid, overweight teen, and overweight adult. And through trials and tribulations, the Lord showed me my purpose. And I was involved in an accident in 2007 that damaged the entire left side of my body, left me immobile for a year, and then I had 3 consecutive years of physical therapy. And my brother invited me back to church. So I went back to church, New Year's service 2010. That was the Beyond year. God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. And so I prayed for abundant healing. And my doctor told me my injuries would not heal if I don't lose the weight. But being as though I've always been overweight, I didn't think it was possible. And I rededicated my life to Christ that New Year's Eve service. And I told him he can have all of me, not just pieces, but he can have all of me. And I needed him to take the weight off. And little did I know that we carry weight in more than one place, not just physical, but mental and emotional weight as well. And so that was revealed to me. And I went into the bookstore, and at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden Worship Center, there is a very large bookstore. This is the first and only time that I ever went in that bookstore and there was one book on the shelf. And that book was titled, What Would Jesus Eat? And so I purchased that book. I read that book. I studied every scripture that had to do with food and nutrition. I started that year with the Daniel fast. Now, that was the first time I ever fasted in my life. I never went 2 days without a chicken wing. I thought I was going to die. I'm just keeping it real. But after those 21 days, I was still living. Praise God. And so I said, okay, I actually felt kind of good. And I said, I want to continue with this. And so I applied the scriptures to my life. And at the end of that year, my weight went from 415 to 205 naturally. And then the Lord told me, I didn't take this weight off of you for nothing. I need you to go and educate my people. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years.
Wow.
This is good. So look, we got a little echo coming in our mics. So as you get into your presentation, I'm going to switch out. I'm going to let you take the show. And we're going to change out these mics because that echo can be annoying for people. So we want to stop that because we love our audience. And we're going to stop that while you do your thing. All right. So with that being said, man, you got the platform. And we're going to come back and with new mics.
All right. Great. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about Nutrition 101 tonight. So I am the owner of Beyond Weight Loss Total Wellness Center and the Holy and Healthy YouTube channel. And here's one of my before and afters. It's the same pair of pants where now I can actually fit both legs into one pants leg. So God is good. And it's doable. I know weight loss, losing weight, getting healthy is so difficult for most people. But trust me, if I can do it, you can do it as well. But the key to doing it is including God in your plans. We always say, you know, the scripture says to trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. That includes what you should eat and what you should do to lose weight. So here's a quote that I love to use. It's from Jordan S. Rubin. He's the author of The Maker's Diet. And he says, I see a day not long from now when every major mainstream media outlet proclaims this headline: Christians are the world's healthiest people, with less heart disease, diabetes, cancer cases, and obesity than the rest of the world, and have a vibrant level of health. When this day comes, our churches will have to double or triple in size as people from near and far will beat down our doors to learn about the God we serve. In that day, we will truly be God's city on a hill, a light in a dark world. So if you want to evangelize, get healthy. Everyone in the world is looking for health. About 99% of people in the world can improve their heart health. Everyone is searching for a way to get healthier. And if we Christians become healthy, people are going to say, hey, what are you doing? And we could say, hey, let me tell you about the God that we serve and what he says to do. So it's a great way to evangelize. 3 John chapter 1, verse 2. I always start out with the word of God before I teach. And it says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. The thing is that we need to prosper in health. The problem is that a lot of us, we have our health so low on our priority list. We need to bump it up the priority list because the things that are at the top of your priority list, those are the things that are on your schedule. They cannot be moved. God should always be number one on the list. Number two should be your health. One of the problems that we have is that we try to squeeze health into our schedule, where we need to schedule things around our health, because without your health, you can't do anything anyway. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31 says, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God." So you don't have to answer this, but was God glorified by what you ate and drank today? So we want to make sure when we eat or drink, we're bringing glory to God. And one of my favorites, Proverbs chapter 23, verses 1 through 2, that says, "When you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite." So when you sit down to eat, examine the food that they're giving you, that they're serving to you. Know what it is that you're putting in your body. We are to examine everything before we purchase it. Before you purchase a car, you do your research, you test drive, you watch videos and read articles about it. Before you purchase a home, you do your walkthrough, you get your inspection. Before you get married, I pray that you do your background checks and things like that. But why is it that we never consider the food that we're putting into our bodies? We have to know what it is, know the ingredients, and we're going to talk about ingredients a little later. So consider carefully what is before you. And the second part of that says, "And put a knife to your throat if you're a man given an appetite." If you're going to continue to overeat, you might as well slit your throat, because you're killing yourself anyway. I know it's harsh, but that's what it says. Put a knife to your throat if you are a man given the appetite. So we have to stop overeating as well. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, "I have the right to do anything." This is what I hear all the time when it comes to eating. I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. And a lot of us are mastered by foods. If we're honest, food has become an idol for a lot of people. And a lot of people are addicted to foods. They have mastered a way to have the ratio of fat, sugar, and salt to make it highly addictive. So we don't want to be mastered by anything, especially food. So what should we eat? If you want to know what it is that we should eat, you have to just look at your teeth. Look at how God designed your body. We have 20 molars for crushing and grinding plants. We have 8 frontal incisors for fruits and vegetables. And we only have 4 canines for meat. Now, our canines are not like the canines of a lion. We are not ripping the flesh off of a living animal. So, based on the designs of the teeth, we are supposed to eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds than meat. But the world has us conditioned to have an entree with 2 sides. And usually those 2 sides aren't even vegetables. It's usually some type of chicken, mac and cheese, and something else. But we are designed to eat more plants, more fruits, more vegetables. And our jaw moves vertical and horizontal, but a true carnivore's jaw only moves vertically. And the human intestinal tract is about 4 times longer than your height, which favors the ingestion of plant foods. So, have you had a vegetable today? Have you had one this week? It's very, very important to make sure that you are eating your fruits and your vegetables. And Genesis 1:29 is the first dietary law that God gave, the first instructions. He says, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food." Now, this is very, very important, because this is what we're supposed to eat the most of. You think about the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was a perfect place. There was no sin. There was no murder, no killing, nothing. It was a perfect place. So do you think God would give a mediocre meal plan? Of course not. He told us that we need to have fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. But another important part of this is that he says that he gives every seed-bearing plant and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. Why is it so hard to find seeded fruits nowadays? It's by design. God says that he made the seeded fruits, but now everything is seedless. But just know that where there's seed, there is life. If it doesn't have seed, there's no life. And if you took the seeded version of a fruit and compared it to the seedless version, the seeded version is always going to have more vitamins and minerals than the seedless version. I'm not telling you that you cannot have seedless, but just know that God made the seeded fruits and the seeded vegetables. So I have no idea who's making the seedless stuff. So I want you to know your worth. This here is a Cadillac Escalade. It's a very beautiful SUV in my eyes. I hope to have one day. But it is a 6-figure truck, which means it costs over $100,000. So if you were to drive this vehicle, what type of fuel would you put in it? I'm pretty sure somebody said 93 octane, high test, the best of the best. But guess what? The human body is a multi-million-dollar machine. If you don't believe me, go to any doctor, any surgeon and ask, how much does it cost to replace my hip or my knee or to fix a bone in my body or to replace a kidney or something like that? You are in possession of a multi-million-dollar machine. So what type of fuel do you put in it? If you put low-grade fuel in a high-performance vehicle, it's not going to perform the way it was designed to perform. It's going to break down. And for many of us, we continue to put low-grade fuel in this body, and we expect it to run at an optimal level. But it is breaking down. We have to make sure that we fuel our bodies properly. So food is fuel. That's what I want you to think of food as. Recognize food for what it is. Every time that you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or you're fighting disease. So food is fuel, and let's make sure that we fuel our bodies properly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a virtual grocery store tour. So how many grocery store shoppers do we have? Just go ahead and put in the chat, say me, I go to the grocery store. But here's a tip for the grocery store. Majority of grocery stores are laid out the same way, except for a couple. But all you have to do is remember this. Life is on the perimeter and death is in the aisles. That's all you have to remember. If you shop on the perimeter of the grocery store, that's where you need to get the most of your things from. As soon as you walk in most grocery stores, the thing that you're going to be faced with are fruits and vegetables. And then as you continue, you have your refrigerated section, you have your meat section, your fish section, but it's the aisles that we need to stay away from because those are the foods that can't go bad. And if a food cannot go bad, it's not good for you. Food is designed to spoil. It's supposed to go bad. If I had $1 for every time somebody says, well, I buy fresh fruits, but they go bad, that's because you didn't eat them. You're supposed to eat them. But we want to stay out of the aisles because the longer the shelf life of a product, the shorter yours is going to be if you continue to eat it. And I'm going to show you why. So those fruits and vegetables, when you walk into the grocery stores, they don't have labels. And it's best to eat a lot of foods that do not have labels, but the foods in the aisles, they have labels on their containers. And we're going to go over how to read a food label really quickly. Now, most people, when they look at the food label, they've been trained to look at calories. But the thing is that we have far too many people counting calories and not enough people counting chemicals. Your body can burn calories, but it cannot burn chemicals. So if we look at the nutrition facts, you see some very high numbers there. This is a can of soup. And so the most important thing to look at on a nutrition fact label is not the calories, it's not the sodium, it's not the fat, it's the serving size. And you see here the serving size is 1 cup. And it says servings about 2, which means there's 2 cups in this can. Now, if you eat this entire can of soup, you have to multiply all of those numbers by 2. And this is what gets us in trouble. People say I eat soup for lunch, but I'm not improving my health. That's because 1 serving has 940 milligrams of sodium. You eat the entire can, now you have consumed 1,880 milligrams of sodium. On top of that, you've consumed 120 milligrams of cholesterol. So the serving size is what gets us in trouble. Another example is salad dressing. A serving size of salad dressing is 2 tablespoons. Now, most of us go way above 2 tablespoons. And if you measure it out, I'm sure a lot of us, because I know for myself, I used to be this way, I would use 8 to 10 tablespoons of salad dressing, which means you have just put 1,000 calories of salad dressing on your salad, but you were told to eat salads to be healthy, but yet you've just destroyed the salad by putting too much dressing on it. So always pay attention to the serving size.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna mute you when we ask a question because I think that'll stop the echo. All right. So with the salad dressing, you made a comment one time about taking laps around the track with the salad dressing. Could you talk about that and how that just really destroys that we're eating healthy concept?
Yeah. So, I mean, myself, I won't talk about anyone else, but I'll talk about myself. The only times I would run laps is when I was pouring syrup around the pancakes or or the salad dressing on the salad. But at that time, it was the syrup on the pancakes. So when I say running laps, I mean you turn the bottle completely upside down and you just go in a circle. And I mean, if 4 laps was a mile, I was the marathon man because I was running laps with the syrup on the pancakes. And another part of the label is when you look at the ingredients, here's a tip. Whatever is listed first, that's what it contains the most of. And then it goes in order. So if you were to purchase fruit juice and the first ingredient is water or sugar, guess what? It's not fruit juice. So for this one, this can of soup, it's probably hard to read, but the first ingredient is water and then it's chicken stock and then it goes in order. But I have some other examples of how to read ingredients. But just know whatever's listed first, that's what it contains the most of. So now I'm going to introduce you to something called the Scary 7. And the Scary 7 are the 7 ingredients that you want to avoid in packaged foods. Now, keep in mind, if you're eating foods without labels like the fruits and vegetables, you don't have to worry about that. But when you shop in the aisles, you have to read the ingredients. Consider carefully what is before you, like the scripture says. So the first member of the Scary 7 is high fructose corn syrup. We want to avoid this sweetener at all costs. And here's some of the side effects of high fructose corn syrup. Obesity, insulin resistance, increased belly fat, heart disease, tooth decay, liver failure, cancer, and it's mostly made from genetically modified corn. Now, God made natural sweeteners, but high fructose corn syrup is something that our body does not like, and it gets us into a lot of trouble. And guess what? It's in everything, from your juices to your salad dressings and even foods that people consider to be healthy. So we have to make sure that we read the labels. Consider carefully what is before you. So that's high fructose corn syrup. Number 2, trans fat. This is the worst fat that you can put into your body. This is the fat that will clog your arteries. We have to avoid trans fats. And trans fats are labeled as shortening, partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated oil, and margarine. So if you eat a lot of baked goods, packaged baked goods, and cookies, more than likely they may have trans fats in them. Side effects are heart disease, cancer, diabetes. Heart disease is the #1 killer here in America. And it's been for many, many years running. Heart disease. But heart disease is reversible, and we'll talk about that. Trans fats do not melt at room temperature. So if you put a tub of trans fat in your kitchen and come back next week, it's still going to be solid. It raises your bad cholesterol, which is your LDL, and lowers your good cholesterol, which is your HDL. So you want your good cholesterol high and your bad cholesterol low. But trans fats reverse that. And here's the kicker. The government says that if a product has less than a half gram of trans fat, they can claim it as having 0. So you can buy a bag of potato chips and you'll see this stamp on the front of the bag of potato chips that says 0 grams of trans fat. But you read the label or read the ingredients and you'll see partially hydrogenated oil. That lets you know that it has trans fats. but there's a law in place where they can claim it as having 0. So they count on you not reading and not being educated. So you have to make sure, in Hosea it says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I don't want that to be anyone's excuse. So you have to read. Reading the ingredients, it may add 5 to 10 minutes to your shopping trip, but it can also add 5 to 10 years to your life. So don't try to rush through the grocery store. Next, we have artificial flavors. This just means chemicals. Remember, your body can burn calories, but it cannot burn chemicals. It's a blanket term referring to over 100 possible chemical additives, and the side effects include allergic and behavioral reactions. So we have an issue with children in schools where they say kids are hyperactive, they don't listen, they can't sit still. Well, it's because there's a lot of chemicals in their food. And that is what's causing their bodies to react that way. And I'm going to give you another example in a few minutes. The next one, monosodium glutamate, or MSG. Now, some people may not know what MSG is, but you've heard of one of the #1 products that has MSG. So MSG is a flavor enhancer. It's added to Chinese food, canned vegetables, soups, and processed meats. So if you go to the carryout, you have to tell them no MSG. MSG stimulates your taste buds, which causes you to eat more. This is why you can eat Chinese food and you're hungry in 5 minutes after you eat it. So it makes you eat more and more and more. And here's some side effects of MSG. And I'm pretty sure that somebody has taken an over-the-counter drug for one of these side effects when all we have to do is take the flavor and take the chemical away. Chest pain, heart palpitations, headaches, flushing, sweating, facial pressure and tightness, nausea, weakness, numbness, burning, tingling in the face and neck. All from this flavor enhancer. But God has given us so many flavor enhancers in the form of herbs and spices. I'm not talking about KFC. I'm talking about the real herbs and spices that God gave us. So here's an example. Here's accent. I'm sure everybody on this call has seen this before, or seen it in your grandmother's pantry. They put on the front 60% less sodium than salt because we are told salt's not good for us. We have to lower our sodium, wakes up the flavor of your food. Now keep in mind, look at the foods that they have on this canister. It's all Genesis 129 foods, the foods that we're supposed to eat. So they're letting us know that they think this food has no flavor. But this food has a lot of flavor. But on the right, if you look at the ingredients, it has one ingredient, monosodium glutamate. It's all MSG. So we've been shaking this on our greens for generations, wondering why we cannot be healthy. So put this back, go for the herbs and the spices. Next, we have artificial colors. That's chemicals again. So side effects, allergies, keep that in mind. As Pastor Jenkins would say, stick a pin right there. We're going to come back to that with artificial colors and allergies. So side effects are allergies, sinus congestion, hyperactivity in children, worsened symptoms of ADD and ADHD. Blue 1, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 are known to cause allergic reactions. Blue 1, blue 2, green 3, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 are known to cause cancer in animals, and in 6 of 11 tests, yellow 5 cause mutations or growths in the body. And so one of the things that I want you to do after this presentation, go to your kitchen, look at your cookies and your crackers and your ketchups and things like that, and see if any of these scary 7 ingredients are in any foods in your pantry. Remember, consider carefully what is before you. So some foods that are artificially colored, I know this is going to surprise some people. Cheese is artificially colored, except the ones that come from Vermont. So they artificially color cheese. Fish, they gas fish with carbon monoxide. So how many people have a carbon monoxide detector in your home? It should be everybody. And if that carbon monoxide detector goes off, you need to open the windows or get out of the house immediately. But yet they are gassing our food with carbon monoxide, especially tuna and tilapia. We shouldn't be eating tilapia anyway, but I have an example for you in a minute. Pickles. A lot of pickles are artificially colored. Some of them they're gray, and so they color them to be bright green. So you have to read the ingredients and see if they're adding artificial colors to it. Oranges. They spray oranges with citrus red number 2 while they're green. But that color is prohibited in California and Arizona. So you want to buy oranges in season, or you want to get oranges that are organic. This is why a lot of people can eat fruits and the fruits have no flavor whatsoever, because it's not ripe yet. So we're eating fruits that aren't ripe, and then you give them to kids and kids are like, I don't like fruit. It's not sweet. Well, that's because it's not ripe. Farmed salmon. So if the farm salmon is not organic or not sustainably farmed, it's not pink. It's going to come out gray. And so they have to feed them some synthetic pellets to make their flesh pink. So those are some of the foods that are artificially colored. Now, that's not to say that there are foods that are naturally colored. There are green pickles. There are yellow cheeses, but you have to read the labels. Artificial sweeteners. I know I'm going to break somebody's heart with this one, because people have been going to these for so many years because there's 0 calories. But remember, your body can burn calories, but it can't burn chemicals. And these are chemicals. Aspartame, which is equal or NutraSweet. That primarily affects the nervous system. Side effects are headaches, dizziness, memory loss, and convulsions. It actually eats away at your brain. They're studying it now to see if it's one of the causes for Alzheimer's. Sucralose, which is Splenda, that decreases the good bacteria in your stomach. You need the good bacteria in your stomach to break down the food, and sucralose decreases that. Ace K and saccharin, which is sweet and low, have been shown to cause cancer. Actually, Sweet and Low used to have on their package years ago, this product may cause cancer. But now they're able to remove that statement from their products. Preservatives is the next member of the Scary 7. Now, preservatives, their whole reason to put preservatives in food is so the food will not go bad. Remember, if your food can go bad, it's good for you. If it can't go bad, it's bad for you. So here's just an example of some of the preservatives and their side effects. You have TBHQ, which causes nausea and vomiting. Polysorbates cause infertility. We have a record number of people on fertility drugs, but there's so many chemicals in our everyday food that cause infertility. But God has certain foods, which we could probably do at another date and time, that he created that look exactly like the organs that they support. So I'll throw this in there for free. Figs. My brothers, figs are good for you. Okay? Figs are full of seeds. Okay? God designed the figs to look like testicles. Figs are full of seeds, and when they grow, they hang in twos. God has a sense of humor. But what figs do is figs actually help to reverse infertility. They strengthen sperm and allow them to swim. So figs can reverse infertility. So God has given us everything that we need. We don't have to go to any of these chemicals. BHT and BHA cause liver and kidney problems. Sodium benzoate causes allergic reactions. Sulfites cause allergic reactions, especially for asthmatics. And preservatives have been shown to cause daily fatigue. We have so many people that are so tired, sluggish, and fatigued every single day. And first thing they reach for is an energy drink. The first thing we should do is stop consuming the foods that are causing the issue. We have to get to the root cause of the issue. We're putting too many band-aids on open wounds. If you want to be healed, you have to get to the root cause of the issue. And if you're suffering from daily fatigue, you may want to look at what foods have preservatives in it that you're consuming. So now we're going to look at a few labels to see how many Scary 7 ingredients that you can find on some everyday labels that we find in the grocery store. So say, for example, we're in the grocery store and you or the kids, they want some Cocoa Puffs. You're in the grocery store, you see Cocoa Puffs, you see the buzzwords on the front, and it has whole grain because you're told you need whole grains to be healthy. They're really good at marketing. They could put all the buzzwords on the front. But here's a tip. If you see an item with a cartoon character on the package, they're letting you know that those ingredients are not real. Okay, so you will see cereals with pictures of a real bird. You'll see cereals with cartoon characters. Avoid anything that has a mascot or that has a commercial. That will let you know if it's something that's healthy or not. When's the last time you seen a commercial for broccoli? Probably never. But avoid the foods that have mascots and commercials. So here, you have the Cocoa Puffs on the left. You have the Cocoa Snaps on the right. And look at the ingredient list. You always want to go for the item that has the shorter ingredient list. The Cocoa Puffs has a long ingredient list. And so let's look at the ingredients. You have whole grain corn, sugar. Sugar is the number 2 ingredient, which means it has a lot of sugar in it. It has more sugar than anything else that comes after that. So you have whole grain corn, sugar, cornmeal, corn syrup. That's another sugar. Canola and or rice bran oil. Cocoa processed with alkali. Color added, artificial colors. Salt, fructose, which is more sugar. Natural and artificial flavor. It's another Scary 7. Trisodium phosphate. That's a whole nother thing. I don't even have enough time to explain to you what that is. And then they tell you BHT added to preserve freshness. So they're letting you know there are preservatives in the food. But we think, it's fresh. It's good. Not in this case. Okay, so now that we've become educated, we know what to look for. And on the right, the Cocoa Snaps has a very short ingredient list. Rice, sugar, coconut oil, cocoa processed with alkali, and then 2% or less of salt, caramel color, natural flavor, and reduced vitamins. And then more than likely, that Cocoa Snaps is going to be cheaper than the Cocoa Puffs. So we are able to eat a little healthier and save money. So you have to compare like products in the grocery store. There are ways to eat healthy on a budget. Here's another example. You have almonds. Now, most people will go for the name brand of almonds, which are the green ones, the emerald ones, right? Because they have commercials for those. But the store brand has one ingredient, almonds. The emerald one has almonds and seasoning and maltodextrin and salt and sugar and monosodium glutamate. And this is why you can't just eat just one. And then corn syrup solids, which is more sugar and just a lot of things you can't pronounce. So once again, you go with the no-name brand, which has the better ingredients and more than likely it has the cheaper price. So here's an example of pancake syrup. I'm not going to say the name, but this used to be everybody's aunt until she went through the name change. She took her bonnet off and got fancy on us. But if you look at the ingredients, right? God created something called maple syrup that has one ingredient, maple syrup. Now you look at this. First ingredient is corn syrup. Second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Then the third ingredient is water. So right now it's sugar water. All right. Then you have cellulose gum. Anytime you see the word gum, that means it's a thickener and it usually comes from corn. Then you have caramel color because nobody likes syrup that's not brown. And then you have salt, sodium benzoate, and sorbic acid. They tell you right there it's preservatives, artificial and natural flavors, and then sodium hexametaphosphate followed by a number letting you know it came from a lab. So this is a science experiment. And this is what we've been putting on our pancakes for years and years. And God has something that he created called maple syrup. So let's opt for the more natural rather than the science projects. because only God knows what this has been doing to our bodies for decades. Here's another one. Another pancake syrup. First ingredient, high fructose corn syrup. Go ahead and put that back. And then the next one is corn syrup and water. So this one has this. This is why you really have to consider carefully what is before you. We have to read the labels. All right. If you don't get anything else, just make sure you read the labels and teach the children to read labels as well. Remember, it's in the scripture. Consider carefully what is before you. Here's an example from tilapia that I mentioned. Look at the ingredients. Tilapia, carbon monoxide. And people eat this every single day. And just know they put the print really small so you cannot read it. So it's by design. But if you have to carry a magnifying glass in your back pocket, go ahead in that grocery store, use your phone, use something so that you can see what it is they're putting in your food. Now here you have stovetop stuffing. And they got the nerve to put a phone number on there to about contact us. Yeah, we'll call you okay. We'll call you all right. But first ingredients, enriched wheat flour. Whenever you see the word enriched, that means the natural vitamins were taken out. So they have to put synthetic vitamins in, which your body doesn't absorb anyway. And then you have high fructose corn syrup as the second ingredient. So there's high fructose corn syrup in the stuffing. Why? I have no idea. And as you continue to read, you'll see less than 2% of partially hydrogenated soybean and or cottonseed oil. So this also has trans fat in it. And that is the fat that clogs your arteries. Go ahead and put that back. Now, I know the Christians are about to be mad at me, but I got to let y'all know something. And this is public knowledge. It's on their website. But you just have to know what's in it, right? I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not tell you. And you're about to see why those lines are so long in the drive-thru. Another thing you have to pay attention to, and I'm not putting them down, but when's the last time you saw a commercial from this place? And I'm sorry, Antonio and Karen. Hopefully, if they sponsor you in the future, I hope I don't mess up no future sponsorships. But I just have to let you know. When you watch the commercials, they rarely talk about the food. It's always about the customer service or what somebody has done. This person helped my kids while I had a rough day. They're not even talking about any of the food. But you look at the ingredients. First ingredient is chicken. Praise the Lord. Some places can't say that. Okay, so that's a good thing. First ingredient is chicken. But if you look, it's boneless, skinless chicken breasts and the seasoning, salt, MSG, sugar. Okay? Remember, MSG causes your taste buds to jump and causes you to eat more. And so you become addicted and you keep going and going and going. And so as we keep going on, it has MSG multiple times in it. It also has artificial colors. It has polysorbates, which cause infertility. The preservatives. So I encourage you to go to your favorite fast food place's website, your favorite restaurant's website, see if they have the ingredients on there and consider carefully what they're putting before you. We don't even have to mention the sodium. Then you have things like barbecue sauce. This is Sweet Baby Ray's. People love Sweet Baby Ray's, but that first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. So go ahead and put it back and find something that does not have high fructose corn syrup or sugar as the first ingredient. Then you have your sodas. I know we have some soda drinkers on here. And so you have high fructose corn syrup and caramel color and natural flavors. But they tell you this product includes ingredients sourced from genetically engineered crops. Put it back. Here's another one. The competition. High fructose corn syrup. Put it back. And then they say, okay, let's make one with zero sugar. But anytime that you see something that has zero sugar, That means artificial sweeteners. If you ever see anything that says fat-free, because fat is flavor, they remove the fat and they have to put in sugar. But guess what? Sugar turns into fat 100% of the time. So sometimes the fat-free version will end up causing more fat damage than the full fat version in some cases. So for the zero sugar, they're going to add artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, and you see it has aspartame and ACE-K, which have been shown to cause cancer. Now let's look at this this sauce here that people put on their biscuits, right? It's a reason why it's free. Somebody got some in their purse right now. You done take a handful and just dump them in the purse, or got them in a drawer in your kitchen somewhere, like my mother does. So if you look at the ingredients, you have honey, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, sugar. That's 4 sweeteners in a row. Then you have natural flavor, fructose, which is another sweetener, and caramel color. Go ahead and put that back. Don't even grab them. Don't even grab them. And this is another thing. You have ketchup, right? But see, the thing is, in our country, if you're in the United States, we allow certain ingredients that other countries have banned. And so here's a comparison of Heinz ketchup here versus Heinz ketchup in the UK. In the UK, they have tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, salt, spices, and herbs. But here in the US, we have tomato concentrate, not just tomatoes, but tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup. So it's just way too sweet. You got our pastor's favorite thing, Twinkies. Hopefully I want him to watch, but he can go ahead and turn away. But you could just look at those ingredients and just tell this is something that we are not supposed to have. All right. Plus, it has partially hydrogenated oil, so it has trans fats. Do not eat these. Now, here's something I wanted to bring to your attention. Remember the artificial colors and the artificial flavors. Whenever you buy medication, over-the-counter medication, one of the things you want to pay attention to are the inactive ingredients. Now, this is children's Claritin, which is allergy medicine. But if you look at the inactive ingredients, it has aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener. It has artificial colors. And if you recall, one of the side effects of artificial colors are allergic reactions. So you take allergy medicine that has ingredients where the side effects cause allergic reactions. So we don't only have to pay attention to the ingredients of our food, pay attention to the medicine, and the generic or the store brand version of the medicine will have less of the inactive ingredients than the name brand. So you have to do the comparison. Same thing for Benadryl. You look at the inactive ingredients, it has artificial colors, artificial flavors. And so the problem is we are not eating food anymore. We are eating food-like products. Majority of the products in the grocery store did not exist 100 years ago. So we want to make sure we eat as much real food as possible.
So James, before you shift into the real food part, which is going to be dynamic, I want to make sure that we entertain some of the questions, if you don't mind, that are in the chat. And we have a couple of them that's really good, and a lot of comments that are representative of our feelings as well. One person said that they're going to disappear because they can't eat anything that they have in their house. I don't know if you see that one, but if you don't mind, let's just take a couple, and then I want you to get into that. What do we do? Because you might answer some of these questions. So let me go back and make sure we can capture them all. 1 second here. Here's the first one that's coming up, and we'll put this up on the screen right here. Okay, question number 1. Here we are. What's the best way to consume vegetables? Raw, steamed, boiled, or stir-fried with vegetable or olive oil? Does boiling remove essential vitamins in the pot liquor? So let me unmute you and go with that.
That's a great question, Dr. Mark. That's my man, Dr. Mark. So that is a great question. So the best way to consume vegetables are raw, but some people are not able to digest raw vegetables. You never want to boil your vegetables because you cook all of the nutrients out of the vegetables when you boil them. And like he mentioned, unless you're drinking the pot liquor, which is the liquid in the pot, you're not getting those vitamins and minerals. So you want to consume raw, steam, broiled, roasted. You can even do stir fried. And if you want to finish it with the extra virgin olive oil, that's great. You don't want to cook them in extra virgin olive oil because extra virgin olive oil is not meant to be heated. Oils have a smoke point. So certain oils break down at a certain temperature and they'll release free radicals in your body. So if you cook on high heat or medium high heat, you need to go to an avocado oil because that has a smoke point of 500 degrees. Extra virgin olive oil is to be consumed raw or in a salad dressing, or it's a butter replacement. So you dip your bread and dip things in the extra virgin olive oil instead of dipping it in butter. That's a great question, though.
All right.
You are teaching tonight. Let me just say.
I don't even want to talk to him. I don't even want to look his way. I want to go to another question. Here we go.
Gosh.
What's your view on stevia?
So that's another great question. Stevia is a natural sweetener. And it's one of the natural sweeteners that God made. And so some people don't like the aftertaste, though. But stevia is a natural sweetener, as well as raw honey, maple syrup, monk fruit. You have stevia, you have coconut sugar, you have dates or date sugar or date syrup. So there are plenty of natural sweeteners. You also have raw agave. Raw agave is low on the glycemic index, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar. So that's been recommended for a lot of diabetics, and it's sweeter than sugar, so you only need a little bit. The problem is that once it became popular, they started over processing it and started adding additives like things like hexane, which is one of the ingredients that's in gasoline. So you want to make sure that you choose raw and organic if you go that route for a natural sweetener.
All right, last one, and I want you to go to the second part of your presentation, which is going to really impact us, and that's this one here. Where is it? What's your stance on omega-3 fatty acids?
Omega-3 fatty acids are essential to our health. It's good for your brain health. It's good for overall health. There are different foods that have omega-3 fatty acids, like walnuts. Salmon has omega-3 fatty acids, but one of the funny things is that salmon does not naturally have omega-3s. It gets omega-3s from the seaweed that it eats, and then it becomes their flesh. So another great source of omega-3 fatty acids are seaweeds and kelp and sea vegetables. So that's another great way to get omega-3s in your system if you don't like fish or you're allergic to it.
All right, thank you, brother. Hey, look, if you're digging, loving, excited about this type of information, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button or just like the comments that you're hearing tonight and share this video with someone you love, someone you care about, so they can see this information. We also had a question about, will this presentation be available? The video is definitely available. You can keep watching the video over and over again. It's free to watch. And before we finish, we're going to give some contact information. So if you wanted to sit down and contact and have a conversation with the Minister of Health, you can do that. I was thinking I need to sit with him.
I think I do too, James. Don't be surprised. You're gonna be hearing from us soon because there's some things. Yeah, you have really opened our eyes. It's this. I can tell by the comments. Everybody is gleaning something from you. But yeah, this is.
We're gonna charge
really
for it. We're gonna move on. All right, you got it. Go ahead, sir. Take it over.
All right. So Romans 12, chapter 12, verses 1 through 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Now, we know this scripture, but you want to present your bodies a living sacrifice. You can't expect to feel alive if your diet consists mostly of dead things. Okay, you have to eat living foods, those Genesis 1:29 foods. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So we have to renew our minds to how we look at food, how we think about food. Food is fuel. Food is not your boo. Food is not your comfort. The Lord is your comfort. Food does not fill the emptiness of your heart. It only fills the emptiness of your stomach. So we have a lot of emotional eaters that when they become emotional or sad or even happy, they want to celebrate, they run straight to food first. But especially when they're sad, they run to food to fill up the emptiness in their heart. But it goes straight to the stomach. Only Jesus Christ can fill the emptiness of your heart. So do not run to food first. Always run to the Lord. And that is the end of my presentation. So I wanted to leave enough time to take some more questions if we have time. I know we ran a little bit over.
No, you know what? Take your time, man. Take your time. You got a lot of information you gave us. And I'll tell you this. The first time I sat across you and enjoying a meal, I said, I can't hang out with this dude. I just said, this dude has got to have me eating straws and stuff like that. But I did take you up on some of your advice. And I think I called you and said, hey, man, I had exactly what you had and was very tasty. And I appreciate that. So the information you're giving us today is really good. I see another question in there, which is a very good question. I don't know if you see that down at the bottom there, but this is a good one. I'm going to bring this question up and we can dive into that one. And then we're just going to take a couple more Q&A, and then let's get into how people can stay connected with you, okay? All right, so let's bring up this next question. I love this one. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Do you recommend supplementation? So let's talk about supplementation for a second. You are supposed to get most of your vitamins and minerals from your foods that you eat. Supplements are to supplement the vitamins that you don't get from food. The problem is that most of us are not eating nutrient-dense foods. We eat a lot of fast foods. We eat a lot of foods that have no nutrients whatsoever. And so, yes, supplementation is important. But also you want to know where you stand. Make sure that you get your physical, get your lipid panel, get your blood work done so that you know where you stand, because you can consume too many vitamins and that can be detrimental to your health as well. So we have people trying to buy as many vitamins as possible and taking a lot of vitamins that their body does not need. We have people spending a lot of money on synthetic vitamins that your body does not absorb. But if you want to get the most vitamins and minerals in your body, you have to eat nutrient-dense foods, real foods, foods without labels, Genesis 1:29 foods. Meat or no meat? What are your preferences? So that is a personal preference, really. But if you do eat meat, I will say this. The world has taught us to eat meat with a side. We are designed to eat vegetables with a side of meat, if that's what you want to do. So if you eat meat, you are to eat more vegetables than meat, and that will help you out in the long run. The type of meat you eat can greatly affect your health. I'm not here to say whether to eat meat or no meat, but one thing that I will say is that if you decide to go the plant-based route, make sure that you're eating real food. There are a lot of science projects on that side as well. So a lot of those plant-based and vegan meals that you find in stores, that it's not real food. You want to make sure that you eat real food. Remember, food is fuel. If you can't pronounce the ingredients and you don't know what it is, your body's not going to know what to do with it either. My thoughts on juicing. Juicing is really, really beneficial. There's a big difference between juicing and blending. Blending has the fiber intact. Juicing does not. Juicing removes the fiber. And for most people, majority of the people, we don't get enough fiber, and fiber is essential to our health. We have to have fiber. So for some people, they need to have blends instead of juices, but juicing is really good. Both of them have great benefits, but I love juicing. Juicing is great. It goes right to the blood, to the body, feeds you with a lot of vitamins and minerals. You want to make sure if you have a juicer that it is a slow speed juicer, because some of the cheaper juicers, they spin at a fast revolution, which heats up the juice. And when the juice is heated, a lot of the vitamins, minerals, and enzymes are killed.
All right, Karen has a question for you, maybe one or two.
Just one, because the other one was answered. But sea moss, I've been hearing a lot about it. I think I may have even heard you mention it before. I'm not sure. But can you talk about it? It's supposed to repair certain things in the body. And then how do you know what's a good one to use?
Great question. So sea moss has become very, very popular. It has a lot of different minerals that your body needs, and it can, just like other sea vegetables, it can greatly enhance your health. If you're looking for sea moss, you want to get wild crafted sea moss. That's because that sea moss is actually coming from the waters, from the seas or the ocean, especially in the Caribbean. That's really good sea moss. Right now they have a lot of pool grown sea moss, which means they get like a plastic pool from Walmart and fill it with water and grow sea moss in that. And so you want to look for wild crafted sea moss. But I will say this, we have far too many people that learn about something new. You know, it's not new, it's been around forever, but they learn about something new and they have a sea moss smoothie with a number 4. Or from that number 4 ain't going to help, no matter what fast food place you get it from. So you want to make sure that you create an environment in your body where all of these natural healing foods can thrive, right? It does no good. We waste our money when we spend money on all of these natural products and we consume it with artificial food. And so another thing for the person that had the question about meat or no meat, like I said, I'm not going to try to push veganism or anything on you like that. Because veganism is actually for the ethical treatment of animals. It's not really for your health. I want you to be healthy. But I will say you want to make sure that your refrigerator looks more like a garden and less like a morgue. Okay, so you want to make sure you can't expect to feel alive if all you eat are dead things. Make sure your refrigerator and your freezer does not look like a morgue. You want it to look more like a garden. Share your thoughts on dairy products. They're terrible. Dairy products cause inflammation. Inflammation is the cause for a lot of the diseases that we suffer from. Actually, the word itis, you know the word itis, that means inflammation. And so another thing we have to do, brothers and sisters, is stop saying we got the itis. You eat a big meal and you say you got the itis. Well, you probably do because it means inflammation. Dairy products, we're humans. We drink the milk from a cow. That milk is designed for baby calves to help them to grow, really big and strong. We don't drink milk from other mammals. So you're only supposed to have milk as a child. You get your milk from your mother, and then you don't really need it anymore. It causes a lot of inflammation. And in order for a cow to produce milk, it has to be pregnant, which means they keep cows pregnant year round just to produce milk, which causes a lot of stress. And that milk ends up having a lot of bad things in it. And so that's something that we don't need. I would always recommend people to leave the dairy products alone.
Okay, so this has been fantastic. And every time I hear you talk, it's one thing to hear you talk, it's another thing to take action on what you're saying.
Right.
And I've made some modifications, but then I would slide back. I'm definitely a food backslider for sure. So, hey, don't judge me, y'all, because I'm feeling that. What was the thing? The Chick-fil-A? That hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah.
But so let's do this. Let's look at how we can connect with you. I know our viewers and listeners are like, well, where's this guy at? How do we connect with him? How do we join a class? We want to hear more from you.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we go ahead over to some of the things you have set up here, and you can navigate through that as you see fit. And I'm gonna give you back the mic, okay?
Great. So my website is www.beyondweightloss.com. Weight is spelled W and the number 8. That's how you can get in contact with me either through my website or you can email me. My email is beyondweightloss@gmail.com. I also have a web store, which is wealthyentertainment.store. I am a children's book author, and I write books for children about healthy eating with biblical principles. And I've been blessed to win awards for that book, and I'm so eternally grateful because when God told me to write a book, I told him I don't like to read. So if I was to write a book, it had to be a miracle. So I know that was nobody but him. So I am grateful. And that's wealthyentertainment.store. And also I am the director of an amazing ministry at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden called Body by Christ, which is the holistic wellness and nutrition ministry of the First Baptist Church of Glenarden. And we meet every single Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Zoom. And all you have to do is email bodybychrist@fbcglenarden.org for the registration link, and somebody will send you the link to register so that you can join us in our classes. And also, I have been blessed to go to churches around this country to share the holy and healthy message with them as well. So this is something that I love to do, and I just pray that you were able to take at least one thing from tonight's informational class, and you're able to apply it and share it with somebody else so that we can reverse a lot of the diseases that we are suffering from today. Oh, great. You want the book. Great. So just go to Wealthy Entertainment, WELLTHY, and you will see the book. The book is titled The Cool Kids and the Land of the Giants. And it's about a group of Christian friends that take on health-related giants that have invaded their land. And in that first book, they take on a giant named obesity. So it teaches kids about obesity, how to fight obesity, and how to defeat obesity with biblical principles.
This is awesome. And so I'm really trying not to give the feedback, but of course, because you had such great information, we talked earlier, that's why this is happening. So it's cool. We press on because God is in the midst of it, and the information is going to come through. Because we're creative beings as well, right? So we're gonna make it happen. But what I would like for you to do, well, first of all, we want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Man, it was just amazing,
life-changing, impactful.
Life-changing. My big takeaway: your body can't burn chemicals. That was like my big takeaway. So I'm gonna put a different lens on that. So when I'm looking at stuff, my body can't burn these chemicals. Yeah. So what is it doing with the chemicals? Yeah. It's destroying me from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to thank you for that. I want you to appreciate the comments that are over there, the thank you. So I want you to take a moment and go through. You can bring up anyone you want to bring up, but people are loving the conversation. You just go over there and have a good time, man. And I just want to thank you. You know what? Let me get your mic back on.
Yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Dr. Mark. I love you, my brother. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. V Jazz, thank you. Thank you so much. Archie Israel, thank you. Thank you. I will keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Lynn Israel, thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad you've been reading. That's important. We have to make sure we do our own research. Like it says in Hosea, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We have no excuses. We have to make sure that we take care of this temple, this multi-million-dollar temple that God has given us. He's loaned to us, so we got to take care of it. And Anita, yeah, all right, you just finished it. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it, but now you know. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and I'm just humbled. I'm humbled, and I'm just glad that I'm able to share the little bit of information that I have with you all. Thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, see, this could go on all night long, but we can't keep people much longer, man. So we want to say thank you, and we want you to come back anytime you want to. I know there's a part 2 you alluded to a little bit earlier about, that's going to be a whole another subject. That MSG, you messed me up with my Chinese food. I'm done.
Yeah,
So-
the labels, and see, I try to read the labels, but somebody rushes me through the store. So I think you helped me out. So I appreciate that. But definitely looking into the labels, oh my goodness, because there's so many things that you just pulled out and I didn't realize. And so it was eye-opening.
How about the olive oil?
The olive oil. I cook with olive oil now. Now I'm stopping. I'm gonna have to get avocado oil, but you're changing the way we live, the way we do things, things that have been either passed down or become habit for us. And I just really appreciate, the eye-opening information, because we got to get healthy. And we're talking about, how do we go finish out this year strong? Like, what changes do we need to make? And so this is one of them, because if our bodies can't carry us, there's no way we can fulfill the things that God is calling us to do.
Right. So let me pose the last question to you. The name of the show is called Taking the Next Step. So for our listeners, viewers, James, what's the next step?
So the next step is just to take small steps. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't try to do everything in one day. Just take small steps. Just make sure that do something today that your body will thank you for tomorrow. That's very, very important. Just do something today your body will thank you for tomorrow. Make one wiser choice today. Move your body some type of way today so that your body will thank you for it tomorrow. And you just continue to build on top of that. Try shrinking your portions down. Even if you eat fast food, never supersize it. Just get the regular or the kids' meal. That's enough so that you're not hungry. Remember, you eat to not be hungry. You don't eat to be full. So just make the kids' meal is all that a lot of us need. And so that cuts down on your sodium and your cholesterol. So just small steps. Take very, very small steps. And those small steps turn into larger steps. And next thing you know, you'll be reaching your goals. But make sure that you keep the Lord with you. Don't try to do it on your own. It's impossible to do it on your own. So make sure that you keep him with you. Make sure that you pray. Give thanks at all times, and stop saying the rub-a-dub-dub graces, right? Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub type of graces. Make sure that you truly pray over your food. Pray that the food is what they claim it is, and that it's really going to help you. We ask God for miracles throughout the day. We sit in front of a Big Mac and say, Lord, bless this to nourish my body. We know good and well it ain't going to nourish nothing. So we want to make sure that whether we eat or drink or whatever we do all to the glory of God, and make sure that you pray early and often so that we can be healthy.
All right, brother, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hang out with us. Don't go away. But those of you who are listening and viewing, thank you also for coming out. Don't forget, tomorrow we're crossing the finish line of this marathon race. So be here tomorrow. We're going to have a happy hour. Verbal happy hour that's going to be virtual, and we're just going to have all of your favorites come back on. We're going to fill up the screen with speakers on that last night, so come on back. Tell all your friends and family members to come back and see us cross the finish line of this marathon. It's been a beast.
Yeah. It's been good. It's like just everything has been eye-opening, but tonight to end on nutrition, I think it's a great way to bring us to a close. So,
yep. All right. Well, look, good night, everybody. Take care. Thanks for coming out again tonight and hanging out with us. Brother James, Minister of Wealth and I say wealth, but you know what? I'm speaking something here. I don't know. You keep taking care of your health, you can handle your wealth.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? How about that? So you stay here, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all go get some rest. Go get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be hot too. And we'll thank y'all. We'll see y'all then. So good night. God bless y'all. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care now.